All right, so we will get started tonight. Thank you for joining me. I just thought I was going to make some Anzac Slice. Has anyone made that before? Feel free to say nod or pop in the chat. We make Anzac biscuits all the time, but the slice is actually quite nice and the kids love it. The sausage rolls I've made for myself before. Now, it is in the diabetic book, just because of the way it's made with spelt flour, etc. But you could, if you don't want to do it that way, you can use your puff pastry as well. So just to check, Roseanne, have you seen a TM7 or have you got a TM something?
6.
You've got a 6. Awesome. So you know what we're doing. We're playing along here. This just looks exactly like Cookie Do on the TM7. So here we go to the Thai chicken sausage rolls, and you can see in the brackets it says diabetes. We're just pressing start. Now I have prepped a little bit of this, that way you're not sitting here watching, because it has to go in the fridge for 30 minutes, the actual pastry. So if you weren't doing this, you just keep skipping and then click the little dots and say make current step, okay? But I'm just going to talk through what I've already done. So I've already used wholemeal spelt flour and a lime leaf, and you mill them together. We're going to pretend I had a lime leaf because it wasn't in my click and collect. So the flavour might be a little bit different. So that just makes it a little bit, oh, here's Gail, let's add. Yeah, it gives it a nice flavour. Everyone's joining now. Sorry. Yeah, so you're milling that together because, of course, our milling function is a very important feature. Everyone's coming now. So that's that. Then next, you're adding egg, water, and a little bit of olive oil. Now, once you do that, we're going to knead it. There has been feedback the TM7 moves when it kneads, but I honestly haven't experienced it yet. My 6 didn't move, my 7 doesn't move. I couldn't tell you what that's about. The only thing I do recommend is with any Thermomix, you don't use like a shiny granite top cleaner. You just under it, otherwise it has a disco party. I did that years ago by accident with my 6. So if you do find you've got a stone bench top and it is sort of slipping a little bit, just get your dish liquid, just your Palmolive dish liquid or equivalent. Sorry, I've got an alarm going off on my phone. And wash your bench down, dry it off and put your Thermomix back on it, because sometimes the cleaners have a little bit of like a polish in it and it just has a little bit of a disco party. I nearly had a fit the first time it did it. I got such a fright. So yeah, it doesn't normally do that, but just try if that is a pain point for you. Then you're transferring the dough onto a bread mat. Now, I've already done this and refrigerated it for 30 minutes because obviously I can't do that in front of you guys. And clean and dry mixing bowl. For those of you who join me on a Sunday or any night on Zoom, I talk backwards by the time I get here. So sorry, but you'll follow. All right, so now we're going to do the filling, as long as you can see that. So, and hello, Maureen, Linda, Paul. Thank you for joining us. So we're just making the sausage rolls now. So we're going to pop the spring onions in. And then, so I needed to press the 3 dots and go set as the current step. So that way you don't get lost. It's brilliant. So I've ticked that off. I've popped that in. Coriander. Who loves coriander? Who hates coriander? It's a no from me. Who's a yes? Oh, most of you like it. Roseanne, you and I are the same. I put parsley in. It's okay. Whenever it says coriander and I go, ugh, I add parsley. Now, Thai green curry paste. Now, you can actually make that in your Thermomix. I didn't because I really don't use it often. It's only when I'm making this recipe that I find that I use it. So I just grabbed it and I didn't have a lot of the ingredients. If I've got the ingredients to make it, by all means, but I really didn't today. Now, last time I felt like it was a little bit too spicy, so because I am a sook. So I'm just going to put a little bit less in. So if you like a little bit of heat, it'll be fine. But if you're a sook like me, just put a little bit less. And some more lime leaves, which, like I said, we're pretending we've got those today because it wasn't in order. There's a little cap there for the lid rather than the measuring cup. It's all set, 3 seconds, speed 7, just pressing play. One of the things about the TM7, I do not have the TM7 spatula out, that was silly. but it is a lot quieter than your 6. Up to speed 4, you can't really hear the motor, you just hear the contents. So yeah, it's a little bit fun. All right, so now we scrape down the side, so you can see that's all chopped there. So it tells you, just like the other models, scrape down. Next. Now it's going to cook. Now I've actually got a couple of pieces. I probably just left a little bit big. So I'm just going to go back and click the 3 dots. If I can, what have I done? I've never gone back that far. Modes can only be used from the current recipe step. And then I get myself confused because I'm reading backwards. Just not unusual for me. There we go. Set as current step. Yeah. And then press play. So it'll do it for another 3 seconds. I've got a son who has eaten a full meal tonight, plus some, that could feed the starving children somewhere in the world. Like a whole village is what he's eaten, and he's just going to the fridge to get more. He's just like, fridge. Anywho, I digress. This is why we all have Thermomixes. There we go. All right. Best thing I've ever gotten. That's from a 15-year-old. I love it. All right. Oh, lost an earbud. I'm going to cook that now for 5 minutes on 100 degrees. Yeah, Patrick loves, and you just press play. Pat loves the Thermomix. He made rice in it before, and he promised me he was going to make fried rice, but I made the fried rice, yeah. Otherwise, he would have been here making fried rice at 10 o'clock at night. So now he's having another helping of it. So that's cooking now for 5 minutes, and I can't hear it at all. And it's just such a shame that Zoom cuts out noise in one sense because you can't hear it anyway. But there's nothing until you hear the contents moving or cooking, then you don't hear it. The other night I made an ice cream cake, and I could just hear the cream sort of glunking around, but that's it. I couldn't hear the motor at all, which is really good because I lost track of time and ended up doing it a ridiculous time of night and didn't end up waking my kids up, which was fantastic. You can see the colour. I don't know if you can see the colour on it changes here. Behind the screen, it goes from green and then it'll gradually go to red. Sorry. So as it's warming up, it's a good visual representation to show you and the family that it is hot. So now it's gone red because it's hit 70, like it's over the 60 degrees. So that's a little bit fun. It's just hard to show you on Zoom that bit. I'm like, All right. So that's going to cook off that component. Now this is actually it's a healthy recipe. The spelt flour's got more protein and fiber in it, which is why it's better for diabetics, specifically type 2. It said, I looked it up properly, I knew it was better, but I thought, let's look it up so I can tell you guys properly. The pastry itself I've got here ready to have a play with soon, but I might not. I'll wreck it. Let's play show and tell. Do you want to see something new? The last couple of Zooms, I've been lucky enough to have something new to show you. Last time it was the roasting tray. For those of you who didn't see it, big rose gold one that you can use as a lid or you can have it as 2 separate trays. So that's quite fun. I showed you that last time. Fresh bang. This time, now this is just for consultants at the moment, which is quite fun. And this is why we're consultants, because we love all the free and the stuff that you can earn. Right. This is the new design thermo server. So a little bit different. Let's just put mine away. It's got this rubber sort of silicone thing there to hold it together. But I've just realised I think I've had that on backwards. Maybe. Anyway, that's got a seal on it. It's got a bit of a rubber seal, but only just arrived. I haven't even used it yet. I just got it out of the box. So that it doesn't, like, the lid doesn't slide off like the other ones do. So it does sort of stay there, but if you were going to take it somewhere, you've got the silicone strap that you can pop around it. It's double walled, just the same, but what's different is, see the shape? It's not straight. Do you know what that means? A stack. So if you do have 2, you can stack them and not have a leaning tower of thermo servers in your cupboard. Like I do, and my 12-year-old does the dishes and knocks them all everywhere. It's not fun. So, and the lid is actually quite thick, like it's quite insulated there. So Anyway, that just arrived this week. We knew it was coming. A little bit fun. It's 2.7 litres. The current one's 2.6. They're similar. Probably just the shape of it that's the difference there. What do we think? It's a bit fun. That's my show and tell. Because the thermo servers are great. I love my thermo server. Anyone prove their dough in their thermo server? Yeah? Well, that curry paste is getting strong under my nose now. I prove my dough in it all the time. Like tonight, I made the fried rice and put it in it, and Pat just gets it in and out of the fridge when he. I say Pat because he's the only one that's going to eat all of it by probably morning. So you can use it for leftovers. They look nice on the table when you're serving them as well. Great for proving dough, keeping things warm and cool while you're cooking as well. So that's another good thing. So yeah, just thought I'd show you that one. I'm not very good at putting that on yet. Maybe I didn't have it backwards the first time. I was second guessing myself. Yeah, that's better. No, that was fine. That's better. So yeah, that's cool. And I like the silicone, the strap there because my table's wooden, but it doesn't like the heat on it. It goes funny. So I'm always putting things down first, even if it's just warm on the bottom. So that'll save me worrying about that. Okay, what are we up to? Oh, 18 seconds. Time flies. I love fun stuff, new stuff. It's good to see things change sometimes, just to get a little bit different. 5. There we go. All right, so I've just got chicken mince, some cannellini beans to go. And you can see, and you press next. So allow that to cool, and then we'll add the cannellini beans. So with the beans, does anybody cook with cannellini beans often? No? No. I just got these. I did click and collect today, and I don't do them often. But anyway, I got organic cannellini beans, which is fine. So it's just that they're about $1.40. They were quite good, quite cheap. There's been a couple of recipes lately I've been putting beans in, and not something I would normally cook with. I have been, and as you might see if you follow me on Look Who's Mixing, I have been trying hard since being diagnosed type 2 diabetic a couple of years or 18 months ago now. I've been trying to clean up my diet and have some options for myself. And in doing that, I have gradually, accidentally, thank goodness, changed my taste buds a bit. So things that I eat now, there's no way I would have eaten it 2 years ago. And I didn't have a super bad diet before, but it wasn't good for what my body needed. So I've cooked, and there was a sweet potato pie that I made a few weeks ago as well on Zoom. And that's delicious. It's a great side or a lunch or even a main if that's what you want. But there are some recipes with different types of beans in it that you just don't know that they're there. So I had a real problem with, like, I wouldn't eat them straight out like some people do. It's not for me, that's for sure. But I find if you're gradually changing your diet, so if anybody is looking to improve their health and their diet, stick with it, be really, really, really strong, and just bit by bit. You don't have to. I think the biggest thing I feel for me anyway in the past is, okay, let's clean up. Let's all of a sudden eat completely different food than I was eating. And you set yourself up to fail because there's no way, if you enjoyed eating like that, you would eat like that already. So just bit by bit. I've had a lot of people reach out and ask about it because with that journey came 25 kilos off. But yeah, just bit by bit. And it's amazing. There we go. Let's pop that through. All right, that's going to mix now. We're going to pretend we let that cool down. We'll be right. To be honest, I would have cooked like this anyway. There's no way I would have let that cool down. And I have made this before, and they froze really well as well. So it was a good lunch option for me. So I just throw some salad with it, all by itself. A little bit of sour cream with it. That was nice too because it was a little bit hot for me the first time. So I was looking for the Greek yogurt or the sour cream or something. All right, fish sauce is quite funny. It's the 17 grams. It's very, very precise number there. So for someone who's like, yeah, that'll be right, that's a bit stressful. I'll have to pay attention. There we go. Oh, I got 18. That's okay. Some pepper. Where did I put my pepper? Brought it over here. What did I do here? Gravitated. right. I'm not putting as much pepper in either because, like I said, last time I was a little bit. Now it's on its knead function. All right, so we've just pressed play. So it's just going to 20 seconds. It's going to knead. And it's kind of like folding it all in, isn't it? The knead function. It goes and it stops. It goes and then it stops. So 2 minutes of the knead function equals 10 minutes of hand kneading. Next time you're making your pizza dough in Thermomix or your bread dough, just think, imagine if you had to do that for 10 minutes, like by hand. Pass, hard pass. All right, now this is where I'm real with you. It says transfer into a piping bag and set that aside. I'm not piping anything onto pastry for my lunch. I'm not. And if that's something that you want to do and you love doing and you enjoy and you have the time and the patience for that, absolutely go for it. But just because it says you should or it wants you to doesn't mean you have to. You don't want to see me do that. I make far more mess doing it with a piping bag than I do if I don't. Okay, so transfer that into a piping bag and set it aside. We are going to, I need to take it out of that? I don't think I do. No, I'll just leave it in that bowl then. We'll just save some time there. And some dishes. That's for the other recipe. All right. So it's saying preheat the oven to 190 degrees and then set it aside. Whisk an egg and half a teaspoon of tamari. So I've got that here. Just pop that together. There we go. Next, and have that ready. I'll just get some of this stuff out of the way because I need to have that space. Got my sesame seeds ready. So that's something I really, really emphasize is you cook how you want to. Cook It Do is a great guide, amazing guide. But you don't want to do it or you don't have time or you find that stressful, nah, don't worry about it. If it's not going to impact the recipe, it's not a problem. It's how I look at it anyway. But it depends. If you want it to look exact, then go for gold. Whatever brings you peace. All right. So this says to make it into a big triangle. Now, you know, the other thing is with your spatula, does everybody know that cuts, you can cut your dough with your spatula? So you can just slice it. So if I went, oh, I want it on a straight line there, I can just do it like that. So that's a great little tool, and any spatula does it. It doesn't have to be a TM7 spatula or a 6 or whatever. Any spatula will do it. All right. I'm going to hopefully not make a royal mess in front of you all. But you're all used to that by now because it's just how I cook. And that's one of the things with the Thermomix for me. Everybody likes the Thermomix for something different. I know my close friend who I run Look Who's Mixing the page with, Kimberly, she will do anything to just use one bowl, whereas I will do anything to make it quicker. So we cook, even though we cook similar, we have similar likes, etc., we use the Thermomix completely different. So, you know, it just depends what matters most to you. And I'm quite quick at hand doing some things. So, and I always have been. So I've got to see the value in it for time for me to do certain things, which is what you can just make up your mind, basically what you want to do. Does anybody make any kind of sausage rolls at the moment other than your standard ones? Any variations out there? No? Everyone's quiet? That's a no? All right, so this bread mat, all being well because I'm showing you and that's normally where things go wrong, yeah? This bread mat is in the mix shop. It's fiberglass inside, encapsulated in silicone. Now, what that means is when I'm working with this, I've had it in the fridge and it actually keeps the cool or it keeps the warmth. So when you're proving your dough, it'll keep the warm in. Now that I'm using for pastries, it keeps it a little bit cooler for longer so that when you're working it, it doesn't heat up too much. I mean, I have had this sitting out on my bench for a little bit more than I normally would have. But yeah, you can just work it. Let's see if it sticks today. It never sticks for me, yeah, but it will today. There you go. All right. So now when you pop this, so when you do this at home, make sure or try to bring it straight out from the fridge because I can feel it's quite soft from being out and getting a little bit too warm. Like I said, I had to get organised or I'd be running around at the last minute. All right, the other thing with this mat is you cannot cut on it. If you cut on it, it's no longer safe because you can't be touching that fiberglass. Where's my little, I use this. This is what I do when I make straws or anything like that. I just roll it onto it. Now, what I might do, the other thing is a serrated knife works far better with any of the pastries and scrolls and doughs, etc. And you can probably see even it's quite warm. It's quite soft. We're just going to cut those. So when you do it, just leave it in there a bit longer before you bring it out. Because it's a little bit softer, I'm actually going to put a little bit of baking paper down. This is what I had before from when I rolled it out. So I'll just use that, recycle that just in case, just because it's a bit stickier. Now I've made them a size that suits me for my portion. So I'd probably have 2 of these for lunch with some salad. You can make them bigger, smaller, whatever suits you. To make them prettier, not have your fingerprints in them because you've got them straight from the fridge. But like I said, these freeze really well too. I had the last batch in the freezer for a little while, and my husband and I had them for lunch a couple of times. He liked them being a bit hotter. So that's just totally up to your personal preference. All right. And there's a vegetarian sausage roll that I haven't made yet that's supposed to be divine on Cookie Doo. Has anyone made that? No, we'll all have to try sausage rolls this week. Don't tell Jeff, Maureen. Maureen's brother-in-law makes the most amazing pies and sausage rolls. He's got his own commercial kitchen at home. So he's very clever. I'm just going to pop that in there. I've got another batch I'll do later. But for now, that'll do. I'll just wash my hands and we'll get started with the Anzac Slice. You see, if you've been to my Zooms, I use this all the time. It's like worth every cent. I really like using it, and if you need it to stick to the bench without it moving, if it gets a little bit of a slide out, just put a bit of water down on the bench, just like wipe it like that, and put it down, move it for a minute, and it'll sit there. I didn't brush them after all that. Who saw me do that and went, oh, you didn't brush them? Did anybody notice that? Yeah, so you ladies are onto it. And men, I'm too distracted. You're right. Yeah. Patrick's just, is there any left? Just put my pastry brush. Didn't want to see that? Put it here. Patrick made the steamed rice recipe. So what's that? 350 grams of rice. And made it into we made it into fried rice. So he's just eaten half of that after dinner. Seriously? Wrong time to have 3 boys at the cost of groceries. You know, we really wanted 4 kids and we didn't have 4 kids because I knew I'd have another boy, or we'd have another boy, and I knew I couldn't afford to feed another boy. I didn't mind that I had another boy. I love being a boy mum, but I just knew there's no way I could afford 4 of them. I'm grateful now. I was 17, 15 and 12. We're in the thick of the grocery bill. All right, I'm going to pop that back in. So you can pop sesame seeds, poppy seeds, no seeds, whatever suits you, of course, because it's your recipe. All right. Feel free to yell out next time if you go, you didn't do that. I get to the end. Garnishes as well. I miss garnishes all the time. Does anybody else do that? You think, uh-oh, what did I chop that parsley for? Right. So here, you keep following it along, pressing the next. It tells you transfer it onto a tray, pipe a quarter of the filling on. So I jumped ahead because I've made this before. Cut it into 3 equal pieces, brush it with the egg wash and add your seeds, and then bake for 20 minutes on 190 degrees. Okay, so I've done all of that. And then it takes you through making a salad to go with it. So I'm not doing that. I'm just going to show you when you go down from the top, like, you know, your iPhone or your Samsung, when you swipe down for the settings, that's where the recipe that you're currently on is. So when you want to get out of it, you can press the X. It's quite quick. If you start to go into a recipe and it won't let you in, it says you're already in one, just swipe down, hit the X and continue. So that's something we all got really caught on at first. Like, how do we get out of these recipes? Especially I was at a market with one of the team and Bev and I were, we're a little stressed because we kept showing people the 7 and going through the recipes and then getting stuck. All right. So this says degrees and line of tin. So you can see the tin I used for the sausage rolls is one of the mix shop rose gold ones. This one is the Lamington tray. I use this for so many different things. It's just the perfect little size. So it says grease and line. I just put this because it's easier to take it to slice out and pop it aside. All right, so we're going to use plain flour. So this is a balanced diet. I just showed you a healthy recipe, and now I'm showing you a non-so-healthy recipe. So the kids are very excited about this in their lunches tomorrow. So if I've knocked the cord and the scales have gone 3 grams out, which doesn't really matter. But if you see it change, that's because of the way I've got my Thermomix set up. The cord goes under the Thermomix and attaches sort of underneath where the scales are. So if anyone plays with the scales while you're cooking, it will change it. Now you can see the scales are going up. I love the representation there. It's like old fashioned. Let's see how good, if I've got enough here, because I was like, about that, and we'll measure it together. It's close. Yay. I was like, as long as I don't need more, then we're right. Okay, so now rolled oats. 120 grams of rolled oats. There we go. You know, I never had Anzac biscuits or anything like that growing up because my dad was anaphylactic to rolled oats. So when he comes to visit, I put all of the oats in a Woolworths bag in the top back of my cupboard because I'm scared. He doesn't live in Victoria, otherwise I actually wouldn't probably make it. I'm very worried about it. When he comes to stay or visit, he just laughs at me because I'm like, always know me if you laugh and nothing. I don't want to be the one to do that. So it was quite a novelty when I moved here and started making Anzac biscuits. That was just brown sugar, shredded coconut, and how easy are the biscuits and things like that to make. We make them all the time and freeze them. So that's that. We freeze everything, especially if you make things in big batches. There's so many things that you can freeze and prep ahead to make the week a little bit easier. I'm going to put I just washed it before. Anything to make your week a little bit easier. It doesn't even have to be massive meal prep. Like, you don't have to spend a whole Sunday meal prepping things. Just like this, I've got Anzac Slice for lunches, and I've got some sausage rolls for our lunches. Won't eat sausage rolls all week, but you bank it up. It's something I made last week, I could grab out, say, Tuesday. Press play. Now that's just going to combine it there. There we are. And we're going to pop that into a bowl. We'll pop that aside. So that's just mixed it through. Nothing too fancy, just popped it in. Save me manually doing it. Just tipped it all over my shoe. Never mind. Next. All right, so now butter and golden syrup. Has anybody made golden syrup before? Anyone made golden syrup? No. Do you know what golden syrup is made of? So I've actually got store-bought one here. I don't know why, because I make it all the time, but obviously something's happened. But literally, it's cane sugar and water. To make it, it's sugar, water, and a slice of lemon. That's it. And how much is that? Like, I don't know. It's been in there a while. Five-ish dollars. I honestly make it normally. Must have bought it for a cooking class or something. But yeah, so and it just cooks. You just need to cook it for 45 minutes or 50 minutes or something. That's okay, Linda. See ya. Yeah, so you just need the time for it to cook. Otherwise, it's super cheap and super easy. You just let it simmer away. Right. I was absolutely shocked when I realized how cheap it was to make and how easy. There we go. So one, I reckon I probably bought it instead of maple syrup, having a rain fade day. That's the only thing I can think of. And I've made it for years. And it keeps really well as well. There we go. Right. Pick that off next. Now, until butter is melted, prolonged time if necessary. So press play. So it just depends, I guess, on how cold the butter is. Mine was, but it's been out. So for the last little while I got myself ready. Yeah. Is anybody making biscuits in general? Anyone got a favourite biscuit they like to make? I touched it with butter all over my hands. That was silly. Now I've just made it worse because I'm being slack. So I find with the 7 screen, it's not that scary. I've just made it look far harder. I literally normally dab under the tap, just to get a smidgy bit of moisture on it. And I just give it a wipe like that. And it just comes up a treat every time. And these microfiber cloths are they're in a big pack for $10 at Bunnings. They're just those cheap ones. There's nothing fancy about it. I find it a lot easier to clean than the 6, even though it looks scary, because it's just one big wipe and then a wipe over the screen, dry the screen, and you're done. So it's really funny because it looks harder, but it's not, because you're not shimmying. You shimmy around the auto-locking arms. There's none of that. So it looks a little bit of a pain, but it's not. Anyone got any questions? Real quiet tonight. Right, so it's got 40 more seconds, and then we need to see if it's melted or not. And because I don't have it on a high speed, I probably should have the cap on. I'm a bit lazy with that. All of us consultants. Does someone have a question? I thought I heard someone talk.
Michelle, where's this recipe found?
Oh, this is on Cookie Do. Have you got Cookie Do?
Yes.
Yes. Just do you want the Anzac? I'll send an email afterwards with the information in it.
Oh.
But this is Anzac Slice.
Yep.
And then the other one was the Thai chicken sausage rolls.
Thanks.
And that's okay. All right, so now we've got bicarb, if it's melted or not quite. Have a look. That's I'm like the spatula queen. And it's joining. There we go. I'm always grabbing different spatulas. Right, so my butter's not quite melted yet, so I'm going to put it on for a little bit longer because it said, hi Hannah, because it said prolong when if necessary. We can just go here, click the 3 dots, set as current step, and press play. So it's quite easy to maneuver through the steps once you get the hang of it. It's funny, Patrick used it tonight and he hasn't used it the 7 a lot. Everything that was different, he was like, well, that's silly. And I'm like, no, it's new. I said, the 6 did it this way. And he's like, you just got to keep using it. And it's true. Whenever we've got things that, I could use the TM6 with my eyes closed. And I very much say I'm still learning and still getting the hang of and used to the 7, and that's okay. It's got a lot of fun features that I'm enjoying exploring. And I keep going, oh yeah, time is counting down, it's on. That's probably the hardest thing. And I've said on a Zoom before, I got a hybrid car, so now I'm like, oh, my car and my Thermomix, I have to look, is the radio playing, is the timer on, to see if it's on, which is lovely. It's nice not to be too loud. All right, so I'm just going to stop it. So with this, I can open the lid. A low speed 2. if I want to open it to have a look at it, so it started again, I want to look, it'll pause it. So that's a fun little feature, and I can go, yeah, or no, it's not quite, I'm going to need to cook it a bit longer. So it's quite easy to use, but it's melted. So I don't need to worry about that anymore. So I can literally go, pause, next, what's next? We'll go bicarb. So under speed 2, it lets you have a bit of a peek. It's great. So that's half a teaspoon of bicarb, 2 tablespoons of water. There we go. Now it's going to mix. So we'll put the cap on because we're, just in case, we're trying to be safe here. The lid is designed very well, so it's actually really hard for you to get anything to spit out unless it's like a fine powder or something like that. I'm not saying it's impossible and we should be using the cap, but it's been designed as a little bit of an extra safety feature, which is really good. All right, so now it's saying add the reserved oats mixture. I'll put that in. There we go. Oops. Next. Now combine 5 seconds, speed 4, reverse. So same cookie dough, it's all set. You don't have to find the reverse button or anything like that. It'll do it all for you. There we go. Next, scrape down the sides with the bowl with the spatula, and then we're going to mix it again. So just down the sides, you don't have to go around in a circle. Remember, spatulas, if you do go around, always go clockwise, otherwise you rip them on the blade. So that's that. Then we're going to do another mix. These sausage rolls are going well. There we go. Now we transfer that into the baking dish or tray, whatever you want to call it. So it says using the back of the spoon, press firmly. Still got my spoon. I use so much cutlery when I'm doing things. And I often get to the end and go, where'd that spoon go? All right, so then we bake it for 15 to 30 minutes. So there. Now, I didn't get to show you with the pastry, but when you've got pastry and things that you need to get off the blade, dip it upside down and turn it with your hand, or the TM7 spatula, which I have filed away somewhere very safe at the moment. The base of that spatula actually helps you turn it without getting your fingers in there, which is really good. All right, so this is a stickier mixture, so I've got to give it a bit more of a help, but that dough, it's so good for the dough. All right, now I don't know, a bit mean. I'm not the mother that pours chocolate all over everything. That's not me. This recipe, if you wanted to add a fine layer of chocolate on the top or something like that, you could absolutely go for gold after it's cooked and cooled, of course. Like I said, that's not, my boys have enough energy without a layer of chocolate. And they're not used to it. So I'll leave it with that. Although as they're getting older, of course, they eat more rubbish. Actually, Pat was saying at the table tonight, he's like, I don't remember. I used to love frozen yogurt. Now it's awful. I'm like, that's because that was the sugariest thing you ever had. And now you have far worse when I'm not around. What you used to. All right, so just at the back of the spoon, pushing that down, we'll bake that and then allow it to cool, and then it cuts the slices really well. I always just use this little bit of extra baking paper to push down on it too, just to even it out. And it comes up, and I'll pop pictures up on Look Who's Mixing later. But it comes out a beautiful golden colour, and it's a great consistency. But absolutely, if you want to, even if you don't put a layer on and you just do a very light, little drizzle, that's done. All right, now I need to tell you too, before you go, if there's anything that you see, there's a Host Rewards catalogue out at the moment that ends on the 31st of August. It's got pizza ovens, things like that, that is up to 60% off if you've got a friend that's going to purchase. So if you do have friends that are interested, please make sure you contact your consultant. Just because that is, the pizza oven's normally $589 or something like that. So if that's something that you want to get, have a look and see how to do that. You can do in person, you can do a Zoom with you and a couple of friends. Just chat to your consultant about that. We do have an October delivery for TM7s, just in case your friends are curious about that. They've got a little bit of stock at the moment for October, but once it sort of clicks over to November, we don't ever get any. There's no warning, there's no countdown. We just wake up one day and they say next month. So yeah, that's with that. But at the minute, it was still October, and yeah, the sausage rolls are still cooking. I'll post the picture up later because they're sort of at that pliable stage still. I'll show you and I'll make them go slop everywhere. All right. Well, if that's all and no one's got any questions, I will keep going and I will put a post up on Look Who's Mixing a little bit later. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope it's useful. I just figure if I'm going to do a few things for the week, I may as well show you guys too. And hopefully 8 o'clock is a good time slot for you as well. I just thought, I know I keep going to 4 o'clock and going, I have to finish up doing what I'm doing. And I thought you guys are probably the same. Oh, thanks, Paul. All right, well, let's stop this recording. I'll see you soon. So I'll be here next Sunday. I don't know what I'm making yet. Open to suggestions.